All right, so today we're going to be continuing on with chapter 4, and we're going to start section 2, the hydrosphere. Okay, so first we're going to take a look at water on Earth. Okay, so first a little did you know, okay, 97% of the Earth's water is in oceans, okay, which is too salty, right? Ocean water is salt water for most uses, okay? Have you ever been swimming in the ocean and you accidentally swallow water and it's super salty? Yes, right? So that's what we're talking about. 97% of Earth's water is in oceans and it's too salty to use, okay? And less than 3% of the world's water is fresh water. Okay. What water do we drink? Salt water or fresh water? Fresh water, yep. But the thing is, most of this 3% of fresh water is actually frozen in ice caps. Okay. So we don't even have access, readily available access to that water, most of that 3%. Okay. Which means less than 1% is found in rivers, lakes, and the ground. Okay, less than 1% of the world's water is in our rivers that we have, our lakes that we have, or groundwater. Okay. So again, we're looking at a 97% of our water being in the ocean, salt water. Okay. 3% being fresh water, but less than 1% water we can really actually use. Next, we're going to take a look at our hydrologic cycle. Okay, so this is the movement of water through the atmosphere. Okay, so over time, we have the same amount of water on Earth. Okay, but the physical state of that water is changing. Okay, so again, that same amount of water that we have stays the same, but the physical state that it's in changes. Okay, so that means it can be changing into gas, liquid, or solid form. Okay, but we're never gaining a bunch of water or losing a bunch of water. It's just changing its physical state. Okay, so again, this movement of water through the hydrosphere. Remember we talked about the hydrosphere, which is all of Earth's water, correct? What part of that word gives us a clue? Hydro, that's exactly right, right? Hydro meaning water. Okay, so this is our hydrologic cycle. So this is just a little visual for us to take a look at the hydrologic cycle. So, right, we start with water. This could be a lake, for example, right? Water is evaporated, okay? Evaporation, okay? That forms water droplets, right? Condensation occurs, okay? That condensation results in what? Turns to water droplets. What is happening? Yeah, precipitation, okay? So again, water is evaporated, it condenses, condensation, all right? And when those water droplets form, we have precipitation. Okay, so that can come down in the form of rain, right? It looks like an example. Okay, that water either can go into the ground and become groundwater, okay, or it can be evaporated again. Okay, so that's the continual process of water. And again, right, we're not adding or losing water, but it's changing state. okay? Whether that be a liquid, solid, gas, okay? So let's talk about surface water. So small streams form from runoff. We use the term headwaters for this, okay? So small streams that form from runoff, okay? And these are key terms in your textbook, okay? Section 2. Tributary. Does that word sound familiar? Yes, it is on your landforms sheet, I believe, right? And it was also part of our pre-assessment that we had at the beginning of chapter 4. So again, a tributary, small streams and rivers flow into a larger stream or river, okay? So what river has its headwaters in Minnesota? Mississippi River, right? So that is the main river, but the Mississippi River has many smaller rivers or streams that flow into it. Okay, so those smaller streams and rivers are called tributaries. Okay. Our next term that we have is watershed. Okay. And this is the whole region drained by a river. Okay, we'll have a picture on the next slide to give us a better visual of that. The Mississippi River has hundreds of tributaries. Okay, again, those smaller streams and rivers, so it has hundreds of tributaries adding into it, okay, in a watershed of more than 1.2 million square miles. Okay, so the Mississippi River, a lot of tributaries in a large watershed. So we have one more, just quick visual again, so you can kind of visualize what tributaries look like. Okay, so again, we have our main river, our main large river, here, this bigger blue line. Okay. Now the smaller, right, streams or rivers flow into the main river. Okay, so these are all tributaries that you see. Okay, up here too, there's a couple. And they all flow into that larger river. Okay, now what that river flows toward, right? That area is in your watershed. Okay, so again, our rain, precipitation, snow, right? Coming down, changing its physical states, because does water, do we gain or lose water? No, right? It just changes states, okay? So I want to talk quickly about floods, and then we will wrap up. So floods occur when rivers carry more water than they can hold. Okay, so this is when a flood occurs, when rivers are carrying more water, right, past their riverbanks than they can hold. Okay, a result, some of the effects of floods, they erode the land and destroy vegetation. Okay, so that's one of the effects of having a flood, right? Because water is one of the forces that causes erosion, right, and weathering. So again, it can erode land and then destroy vegetation as well, okay? But people use dams and artificial channels, okay, to reduce the impact of floods. What is a really large, famous dam? Say it louder, Carter. Yeah. Has anyone visited Hoover Dam? You have, Troy? Cool. What was it like? Big? Really big. Yeah. Okay, so again, that is how humans, right, how we can reduce, try to, that impact of floods. Okay.